What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Sports Kings podcast. I am your host, Mean Gene, the Sports King. Just kidding, I'm not. I am Jacob Meadows. Unfortunately, Mr. Mean Gene cannot be with us tonight. His son had his first kid. Everybody give a big round of applause for Gene. Woo! And I'm here. I'm joined by Mr. Dustin Phiefer, the man with the plan, the smartest man I know when it comes to sports. He is a sports savant. What is up, Mr. Dustin? How are you tonight?
Well, I appreciate that intro. I don't know after our picks last week if we can say we're the smartest guys in the room. We'll get into that. But, yeah, you're right. Glad to be here. Glad to hold it down for Gene. Congrats to him and the family. Definitely a big moment. And listen, I always like when we can have a show and we can talk about Gene, and he's not here to defend himself. So Gene better get ready for an entire hour of giving him hell, because I want to know. Listen, let me just say this. Congrats to his family. Congrats on the granddaughter. But do we think Gene just didn't want to be on the show because he went 2-12 last week?
Dude, that's got to be it. After we tallied up who hit what, and Gene only came in with 2, which might I add, my girlfriend, Rachel, who has been involved in the back scenes of the show, she hit 3, right? So Gene hitting 2, it did one. It kind of felt like he knew this was coming, right? Yeah, so it didn't matter if he did well, but it definitely kind of seems like he dipped on this one
because we're going to show the graphic here in a couple of minutes. But I am on record, and I went back and looked. That is the worst week we've ever had on this show. We've been doing this show for years.
We've done 2 live stints in Vegas, dude. Like when Gene brought me on initially, I did a sports gambling podcast at the Virgin Hotel and Casino. Gene was involved, right? It was me and Mr. Picks, but Gene was involved. Yeah. Gene never missed all the games. Yeah. And he got.
I mean, if that happened while we were in Vegas, they might have kicked him out of the hotel.
Cut our contract.
Yeah. That's not good. Not good.
Brutal week for Gene. But before we jump into the scorecard and stuff, I do have some fun notes for week 5. Week 5 was actually a pretty interesting week, all things considered. Yeah. There have been 24 games so far this season that have featured a game-winning score in the final 2 minutes of regulation or overtime, the most ever through the first 5 weeks of a season. The Carolina Panthers, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Minnesota Vikings, the New England Patriots, San Francisco 49ers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all did this last week. Oh, and the Tennessee Titans. I don't know if I caught them or not. It's both since week 15 of 2022 to do so in 1 week of ball. You had the last 2 undefeated teams in the league fell last week, and the last 2 winless teams won. So you had the Titans and Saints, who hadn't won a single game all season. They both won. And then you had the Bills and the Eagles both fall, which was wild. And if I'm not mistaken, we missed all 4 of those collectively, which was fantastic. But week 5, we also witnessed 4 teams come back from at least a 14-point deficit. And then there was 2 more that came back from a 10-point deficit, the 6 total. You're looking at the Carolina Panthers, the Denver Broncos, the Tennessee Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the New Orleans Saints, and the Washington Commanders. That is the most since week 13 of the 2013 season. That is incredible. And as a personal note from myself, mostly to you, but from myself, Rico Dowdle is an absolute monster. He was my player of the week. I didn't pick him up on fantasy because I'm an idiot, but that dude had an absolutely terrific game and made every bit of nonsense that I spat about him. He should have been more pursued in free agency this past season. He made me look so good because that guy is a monster.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys are doing fine on offense, but I bet they still wish they had a back like that could run. I mean, this guy came out, and let's remember, he was a 1,000-yard back last year and had to go be a backup. Didn't get it from Dallas, didn't get it from anywhere else, decided to go be a backup. He went to South Carolina, so he went back home to Carolina. And what a performance with Chuba Hubbard out. I mean, just dominated the game. I know the Dolphins' run defense is awful, but he just ran wild. And listen, now he takes that game and now goes in to face his former team in the Dallas Cowboys this week, and he's already been quoted as saying, buckle up. So you know that he's ready to go against his former team.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited for it. I like Rico. I hope him all the best because he really is a good player, and I like him in Carolina. There's been rumblings that Chuba Hubbard's he's still going to be RB1, but there is rumblings that Dowdle's going to break into that just a little bit. I'm here for it, despite having
and Chuba's still banged up, but they If he does come back, they need to make that a more split backfield. Chuba is the every down workhorse, but Dowdle has that explosion that you need to have in an offense.
Absolutely. All right. Well, without saying too much more about the Carolina Panthers, they are coming up later this show. Yeah. But let's dive in to the content and go ahead and throw that scoreboard up, Dustin, so we can show the world how awful Gene is at this job.
I think you have to throw it up. I've got him added in there, but I think you got to throw it up.
Just kidding. Boom.
There it is.
Cool. So
that's not the right one. Hang on a second, because those are actually winning records. And I can tell you right now, we did not have any winning records. So let me I'm just not used to us having such bad weeks. So because the fans are going to see that and they're going to go, man, that's a winning week. Now pull what I just shared up and look at this.
All right, everybody.
Because this is not good. Let's just be honest. As Sports Kings, this is not good. We have me going 5-9. We have Jacob going 6-8. And we have me and Gene going 2-12. Our guest picker, Josh, also went 6-8. So Jacob and Josh were in first place last week with a 6-8 record. I know people don't do math real well, but that's not good records when you're picking games.
It's so bad, dude. And at least in our defense, right? There were so many upsets that went in a direction that nobody saw. Like Vegas made so much money last week.
Oh yeah, absolutely
coming. Like there were just like nobody saw the Eagles losing to the Broncos except for my girlfriend, who I've heard about it all week since it happened. She did call that game. However, nobody saw that one coming. Nobody saw the Bills losing to the Patriots. Although I have rode the Patriots coattails pretty hard this year. That one made me proud. I didn't pick them, but it did make me proud. But it's all in all, it was a good week of ball. Terrible week for us, but we're going to turn it around. I have Gene's picks here in front of me. I have a feeling he's not going to go 2-12 again. But
I mean, I didn't even know that was possible. I'm looking at his 2-12. The only two that he had right were the Minnesota Vikings, who barely won. And then he also had the Indianapolis Colts, which was a blowout. So he was real close to only having one win for the week, because that Browns-Vikings game couldn't have went either way.
You know, it just kind of feels like you could have put a blindfold on somebody and had them throw darts at the wall, and they would have hit more than 2 out of 12, which I love for Gene, because this segment is fantastic already.
Yeah, I mean, he's a full 6 games back now of first place. Jacob gained a game last week, so he's back to 3 games back, goes back to second place. Still, records looking good overall. We're all over 500. My locks 7-0, and I've hit 5 upsets. I mean, that's some strong picks. Not just saying that because it's my records, but this thing's getting tighter, and you can tell these games are getting tougher as we go, and the picks are only going to continue to get tougher as we make them.
I don't know how you hit all your locks. That I struggle with the lock. I'm 4-3, which is it's a winning record, but God bless. I miss more on my locks than I wish I would.
Yeah, my 2 last week I'm trying to look at it right here. I had Indy and I had Detroit, because I mean those were 2 given locks. I mean, you know, let's not forget that Gene picked 2 upsets last week, Jacob. He picked the Jets to beat Dallas. How did that go? And he picked the Bengals to beat the Lions. How did that go?
God, then they're just, I mean, those are upsets, right? They
are. At least he went for it. That's what we can give him credit for that. He wasn't just pulling this little small upset. He was going for the jugular.
Oh, man.
So,
hey, but let's go ahead and dive into our first game.
Now, I have to do it, Jacob. I know you don't want me to before we dive into the games.
I was trying.
We've been giving Mean Gene hell, but he did want me to shout out that he did beat you in fantasy football, 199-119. It was an 80-point victory. Now, if it was a close victory, I might not have mentioned it, Jacob. But you lose a fantasy game by 80 points, we do kind of got to call that out.
It was an 80-point loss. My quarterback put up 50.
That's crazy.
It was so bad. Gene's whole team went off. Everybody scored 1 to 3 touchdowns on Gene's team. My whole team lay dormant the entire week. So
all that I ask is that your team does the same thing this week, because I'm playing you this week.
Gotta get in the win column, man. I'm so RIP to you.
All right, let's do it. I had to throw that out there, but we can dive right in now.
I appreciate that so much from you.
Of course. I mean, listen, if I'm going to give Mean Gene some flack, I got to give you a little bit of flack too. So
only fair. I deserve it. It's not as bad. So for first game of the week, we have our Thursday night showdown. We have the newly 4-1 Philadelphia Eagles versus the 1-4 New York Giants. We've seen some injury issues with the Giants. Jackson Dart nursing a hammy. Darius Slayton nursing a hammy. And I mean, Cam Scadabo's got weird injuries throughout the week, but dude's totally fine. Dustin, tell me, how do you feel about this Thursday night matchup?
I feel that I wish we had a different matchup on Thursday night. Although, listen, it happens. It's a division game. I will say I'm still excited to see Jackson Dart, see how his development goes in this season. But again, we talked about it last week, Jacob. You can't get a win over the Chargers like that and then go down to New Orleans against a winless team. Now, again, winless teams are going to win. It happened with the Titans. It happened with the Saints. So it's the NFL. They can win a game. But I think I heard the stat, they turned the ball over 5 straight possessions. Something if you're the Giants. I mean, it's just unacceptable. And again, I guess that's a rookie quarterback and the ups and downs you go through. But you had a chance to get 2 and 3 looks a lot different than 1 and 4. You beat the Saints, you get to 2 and 3. You come home against the Eagles, your crowd's probably feeling good. Now you're 1 and 4. You're just kind of like, man, we're back to where we were. Another big game for Daboll. I mean, you got to try to find some of these wins. I know it's the Eagles and they're coming off a loss, but if you're trying to save your job, you at least got to go out there and be competitive. With that being said, the Eagles are going to be pissed off after what happened last week, Jacob. They had that game in control up 2 scores, let Denver come back in Philly and get that win. This is a bad spot for the Giants, who are already 1 and 4. I just don't see how. Hopefully, Jackson Dart plays better at home, but I just don't see how they can beat the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'll take the Eagles to get a win.
I'm right there with you. I took the Eagles to get this win. It's just the Giants have a great defense, right? I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game.
No.
But Eagles take it, and off of Gene's pick, Gene also has the Eagles taking, or the Eagles winning. So
all right, well, at least he's being a little smarter so far.
Just give it some time. It gets worse. But he does take the Eagles, unanimous decision. Eagles take. Right. Yeah. All right. Moving on to the second game. We are back in London. This is going to be a thriller. We have the Denver Broncos versus the New York Jets. This is a winless team. I said that all the winless teams won. I was wrong.
I was too. You're right.
And so the Jets still no wins. They are 0-5. Aaron Glenn's first year as a head coach. It is unfortunate. I liked him with Detroit, but he is matched up against the Denver Broncos, who are coming off of toppling the Eagles mountain. Tell me, Dustin, talk to me. How do you feel about this game?
I got to be honest with you. I'm starting to – I've always been high on Aaron Glenn. He played with the New York Jets. You know, he knows that city, knows that culture. I thought it was a very good hire. But somehow they've gotten worse, Jacob. And I don't know if that's quarterback play. I think it's overall. I mean, the Jets were known for having a decent defense. You bring in a defensive coach. You get rid of one defensive coach. You bring in another defensive coach, and you get worse. I mean – I have a lot of questions about the Jets going forward. I don't give up on a coach 5 games in, but Aaron Glenn, I mean, there's some questions starting to be asked, Jacob. And you're right. I got to give the Denver Broncos credit. I haven't really been high on them this season. Big win to go there and get that win in Philadelphia. And now they travel over with a lot of momentum. I think this is another bad spot for the Jets. Like, it's not a home game. You're overseas. You're 0-5. You got embarrassed by the Cowboys. The Denver Broncos defense. Listen, if you couldn't, I'm going to say this right now, Jacob, for the Jets, if you couldn't score against that Cowboys defense, you're probably not going to score against the Denver Broncos defense. Let's just be honest. So with that being said, give me the Denver Broncos to get a win.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's hard to understand how you move off of Bob Salah, right? You get rid of him, whether he was clashing heads with Aaron Rodgers or, really whatever it was. You get rid of Bob Salah and you move over to Aaron Glenn, who was fantastic in Detroit. And somehow that defense takes 3 steps back when it's almost the same personnel. It is wild. And I am right there with you.
And I know you've been high on Justin Fields, but he has not been good.
I want him to be good so bad, and he has not been great. However, I do have one for you because I am taking the Denver Broncos to win what should be an easy matchup.
Okay.
I'm hoping that this works correctly because this is.
Oh boy! Tell me it's not. Tell me it's not. Oh my!
I don't have the graphic for it. I'm sorry about it.
Oh, I got the graphics. That's my fault. Hold on a second. If he's gonna put it up there, we got to put it up there. Go ahead and throw it up there.
Go ahead, throwing it up.
I am. I shouldn't be shocked. They took the Bengals last week, but listen, you know what? I'm actually not as shocked by this one as I was by last week, Cincinnati, because we just said it last week. These winless teams at some point are going to win a game.
Yep.
So if it happens, I guess I won't be shocked. But the way they played offense last week against the Cowboys, I just don't see it happen.
I don't see it, man. When Gene sent me his picks when I was writing these out, because I write it out on paper, right? Because that's forever. Yeah. And I wrote this one out, and I was like, Gene, God bless it. Like, you're trying to go 2-12 again.
He's trying. He's trying to get back in it now. He's feeling a little desperate. He's trying to get back in it.
But Gene does have the Jets for our records.
All right.
Moving on, we have the Los Angeles Rams versus the Baltimore Ravens. This game is in B-more. Ravens coming off of a dismantling by my Houston Texans. And the Rams are coming off of a very disappointing loss to the San Francisco 49ers, where they fell in the final seconds of the game. The Mac attack strikes again. Somehow Kyle Shanahan won with Mac Jones and that depleted roster that was missing Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Juwan.
I mean, we'll get to that when we get to the 49ers game, but that could be a QB controversy we're talking about here soon.
You're not kidding. You pay all that money to Brock Purdy just for him to be the second best quarterback on that roster is wild.
Yeah.
But
I got to be honest. Listen, getting into this game, I'm not surprised that Houston won the game. Again, it was a 1-point spread. Lamar Jackson's not playing. But to lose, again, I know they have injuries and Lamar Jackson didn't play, but to lose 44-10 at home is an embarrassment for a franchise that is supposed to be, regardless of who's hurt, one of the more premier franchises in the NFL. And now you sit 1-4, and I haven't seen it, but I don't think Lamar is going to play again this week. And the way that injuries has happened on defense, now they just traded another edge to the Chargers. I mean, we're getting close to – well, we're not getting close. We're in panic mode if you're the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, the Steelers are sitting atop the division. I just don't know what's going on there. I know there's injuries. I know Lamar's hurt, but there's got to be more pride, better coaching from a veteran coach like Harbaugh, something to get this team on track. I'll let you pick this game first, but man, and the Rams got to be coming in mad too because they shouldn't have lost to an injury-riddled 49ers team at home. So these are two teams that are looking to bounce back this week.
Yeah, this was an easy one for me. When I got Gene's picks, it kind of threw me for a loop. I do need you to put a different graphic on the.
Let me get it up here. This is getting crazy.
I'm going to take the Rams in this one, and it's almost exclusively because of what Houston was able to do to Baltimore. But the Rams are a better team. Lamar Jackson is out. Kyle Hamilton's still out. Matabuki's out for the season. Right? They just traded Odafe Owe, who had double-digit sacks last season for them. Their pass rush has not been great. Jair Alexander finally played last week. That guy looked like a bum for the entire game against Houston. So the Ravens might be dead this year. This might be a reload season. They get a good draft pick. They come back in, and they take the world by surprise next season. But give me the Rams to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry last week, 15 carries, 33 yards. I mean, that's terrible. Cooper Rush, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I thought Cooper Rush was a better backup than that. But again, when you get behind and you make turnovers, I mean, that's going to happen. But you're right. Until the Baltimore Ravens show me something, I don't think I can pick them again. And that's against a lot of teams in this league. I think they're that bad right now. And you're right. They're 1 or 2 more games away from this being a lost season. Yep. And I mean, stuff can get away from you quick. You lose this game to a good Rams team and you go 1-5. I don't know the stats without looking it up, but there's not many teams that are making the playoffs after going 1-5. So I'm taking the Rams. I do think the Ravens will compete more this week. You'll probably see a closer game for 3 quarters. But if the Rams offense was looking to get right, this is the defense to get right against. So give me the Rams to get a win.
Yep. Expect Puka to have a good game. Expect Devontae to have a good game.
You would think.
Catch some passes. Yeah. it's hard for me to imagine it going in a different direction. However, someone does think this is going to go in a different direction. And we've got, boom, lock of the week. Gene is taking the Ravens as the lock of the week.
This might be the first time we've ever had this. We've got a upset pick that is also a lock. Yeah. So that's interesting. We might have to throw, I don't know how he had it planned out, but we might have to throw both graphics up on the screen because where he's picking a lock and an upset at the same time.
That's it. It's a nuts pick to me. And I get it, right? Like the Ravens are a good team, like deep down to their core.
They're supposed to be a good team.
They're supposed to be a good team. They have a great coach, but the 49ers have proved that you can only be so injured and make it so far. So, like you said,
well, Gene didn't do this, but I'm going to give him a lock and an upset by this because I'm looking at the spread. It's a 7.5 point spread.
It sure enough is.
I mean, the Ravens are at home and are a 7.5 point underdog. Let that sink in, Jacob. So I'm gonna give Gene a double whammy. If he pulls this off, even going 2-12, this could be one of the best picks of the season to throw a lock and an upset in there at the same time.
Agreed. All right, moving on. We have the Dallas Cowboys versus your Carolina Panthers. I'll let you take all of the info on this one, Dustin. Have at it, brother.
Well, I had to wear the shirt after a win. I was going to make that a tradition. They win, I wear a shirt. So, listen, Panthers get down 17-0, Jacob, and it looks like, oh, man, here we go again with what happened in New England last week. But they showed some fortitude. They showed some grit, got back in that game. You mentioned Rico Dowdle. Bryce Young bounced back, threw a touchdown to Leggett, made some big-time throws on a game-winning drive, and found the rookie tight end Mitchell Evans to win the game. And listen, it doesn't seem like a lot because the 2-3 record don't seem like a lot. That's a big win for the Panthers after the way the last few years have went. They go 1-4. Everybody's saying, oh, it's the same Panthers that has been the last 6 years. We're going to a 2 or 3 win season. For them to bounce back from 17 down, especially after losing 42-13 last week, shows that locker room has some heart. So I want to give them some credit. The defense is playing a lot better. If Bryce Young doesn't make those first 2 turnovers, a fumble and interception in that first half, the defense shut down A-Chain. I mean, I think he only had maybe 20 yards rushing. So you got to give that defense credit. And listen, this is a big spot for Carolina. They're at home against the Cowboys. Next week they go to the Jets. So this is a chance, if you could get some wins, your season looks a lot different than it did a couple of weeks ago. Cowboys, got to give them credit again. They go on the road and handle business against the Jets. I think this is going to be a very fun game to watch this week. I really want to pull the trigger and take Carolina because I liked what I saw from that defense. But Dallas's offense has just been so good. And I hate giving them so much credit this year. I can't believe how good their offense is, even without CeeDee Lamb. Dak is, again, him and Baker probably got to be the leaders for MVP in the NFL right now. So I think this game's going to be close. It's not going to surprise me if the Panthers win. They're 2-0 at home. Let's throw that out there. But I just think the Cowboys' offense will probably be too much. Panthers don't want to get in a shootout. Hopefully Rico Dowdle can run the ball, run that clock, keep Dak off the field. But I think the Cowboys will get a win in a close game. I hate making that pick, Jacob, but I'm trying to use my head. After going 5-9 last week, I'm trying to be smart. So I'm going to take Dallas to get a win.
It hurts my soul just as much as it hurts
me so bad.
I'm taking Dallas too, and CeeDee might be back. So
yeah, that's big.
I do have him in all my fantasy leagues, right? Not because.
Although J.C. Horn will be ready for that matchup. He's one of the better corners in the league. So,
but it could also pull J.C. Horn and allow other people to be open. Jordan Pickens has looked really good.
He's looked great.
CeeDee.
Ferguson, listen, Darren Waller had a big game against the Panthers, so Ferguson, the tight end, will be looking to have a big game as well.
Yep, and like you said, that offense is good. Dak has been playing lights out. I really like Dallas in this one, and so does our real host.
Another lock
in the week. Yep, it was 2 right in a row. He has the Cowboys beating the Panthers with a lock of the week.
He is getting bold in these picks.
Hey, that guy was.
Now, to be fair, y'all both had Miami last week, and Carolina pulled the upset. So
I love to see it. I hated to see it, right, for my picks purposes, but I did. I hate the Dolphins, dude. My best friend is a big
train wreck. That's the kind of loss. One more loss, and that's the kind of loss. You're up 17-0 against a Panthers team who hasn't been great. Those are the kind of losses that get you fired as a head coach.
Yep, and he could come be the OC for the Houston Texans any day of the week. Just throwing that out there.
You got to give your offensive coordinator some slack. He scored 44 last week.
We sure did against the worst defense in the league.
Okay.
But
true.
It scored 44. I was happy. It was a good game.
Should be happy.
Better, and I'm glad we're getting a little Texan stuff in there. They are on a bye week this week, so not going to be a lot of Houston praise this week.
They're bouncing back. You got to give them some credit. I mean, two wins, hopefully that bye week, and they can keep that momentum going after that. So
we're going to the Super Bowl, baby.
Wow. No, I'm not going that far. Let's calm down a little bit.
Moving on, we have the Arizona Cardinals and the Indianapolis Colts. We
have the fumble at the goal line game. We've got DeMarcado for the Cardinals, and we've got Adonai Mitchell for the Colts.
God, boneheaded teams, one of which looks very good this season. The other just gave up the Titans' first win of the season. So this is probably going to be a barn burner. I don't envision this being a great game. It could be. Kyler could get on track. Maybe that locker room kind of turns it up. I do feel like the feelings in that locker room might be a little down. I think Kyler might be wearing out his welcome. I don't think it's all his fault, but I do think Kyler might be a big part of the problem. That defense does not look great. I mean, that the Tennessee Titans just beat them. And in the words of the late great Cam Ward, if we keeping it a buck, we ass. And then they came out, they beat the Cardinals. So
I told you last week after he made that quote, I almost wanted to pull the trigger.
And there's been reports that like the locker room unanimously loved that quote by him. So it did work. Arizona took a big L. Indianapolis absolutely beat the brakes off of Las Vegas last week. Give me the Colts.
Let's go with Gene. What's he got for this pick?
Gene has, oh, God bless it. Let me scroll.
Is he just going to put a graphic up for every pick this week? Is that what we're doing?
No, we get a huge break after this one.
Okay. All right. Another lock. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go ahead and leave the graphic on the screen because I've got the same thing. I did Indy as a lock last week against the Raiders, and I'm going to roll it over again and do a lock for Indy again this week. They just look that good. They're playing complementary football. Their defense is playing well. Their offense is playing well. Danny Downs really hasn't slowed down. So this team is a real contender, and right now probably the favorite along with Jacksonville in the AFC South. And the one thing I will say about the Arizona Cardinals, Jacob, you talk about finding ways to lose a football game. Not only the fumble at the goal line, and I think, did you have DeMarcado on fantasy?
I sure did, dude.
So that's brutal.
72-yarder killed me.
So that's brutal. And then on top of that, we hadn't even talked about the interception that Cam Ward threw that turned into a touchdown for the Tennessee Titans that basically flipped the game on its head. So you just find ways to lose. And like you said, you have a game like that. And again, DeMarcado made a big mistake.
Yeah.
But we probably got to spend a second to talk about the response that Jonathan Gannon had on the sideline, putting his hands on him, on a player. I've watched a lot of the ESPNs and the former players, and they just say that cannot happen regardless of the mistake the kid makes. Arizona Cardinals fined him $100,000 today, which is probably the right move. So again, that locker room, we got to see how they respond. Again, DeMarcado shouldn't have made that mistake. Jonathan Gannon shouldn't have put his hands on a player regardless of what happened. So, and like you said, Kyler Murray, how's that going? So there's a lot of wrong things going on in the locker room right now. And then you turn around and have to go to play one of the hottest teams in the NFL. So give me the lock of the week. I'll take the Indianapolis Colts.
Nice. All right. Moving on. Shout out to Gene for doing this every week. It's a lot harder than it looks scrolling through all of this stuff.
It is.
The Seattle Seahawks.
Man, sneaky good game here.
Bro, this is going to be one of the better games of the week in my eyes. Seattle Seahawks 3-2 versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, hot off of accidentally beating the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be a great matchup. Jacksonville's defense has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
The Seattle Seahawks defense has been phenomenal. So Jacksonville has the number one defense for interceptions in the league. Seattle's tied for second. So Jacksonville has 10 picks. Seattle is tied for second with 7. They both have opportunistic defenses. So this is really going to be a battle of which offense can outduel the other one with where they're sitting. I will say I really like Seattle this one. I am taking the Seattle Seahawks in the upset, which it is my job to put that.
Well, first of all, don't put the graphic up because it's not an upset.
Did the line change?
The Seattle Seahawks are favored by 1.5 points.
Really? The Jags were favored by 1.5 last night when I made my notes. Okay.
Yeah, 1.5 Seattle. I'm looking at it right now.
So I'm going to slap the lock of the week up there.
Oh, all right.
I do believe in this game. So do this. Boom.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm on the other side of this. So go ahead and get that upset ready because sneaky line here that the Jacksonville Jaguars are at home just beat the Chiefs in primetime, and they're not favored against the Seattle Seahawks. I know the Seahawks are a good team, but you just mentioned that. I'm starting to like what I'm seeing from this Jacksonville Jaguars team. People can say that win against the Chiefs was a fluke, but their defense made plays. Devin Lloyd was all over the field.
99
and then Trevor Lawrence. It was a weird drive. He had to get up, but that's a statement drive for Trevor Lawrence, who's trying to resurrect his career. And to get them 4-1, the vibes that Liam Cohen has in the locker room right now, Seahawks are still a good team. They lost a tough game to Tampa Bay. But I just think going on the road, Jacksonville 3-0 at home, Seattle 2-0 on the road. So something's got to give there. I just think Jacksonville's going to be riding high after that, and I think they're going to pull the upset off and get a win over the Seattle Seahawks. Let's go.
I love it. Honestly, I think this game could go either way. I don't want Jacksonville to win just because I want the Texans to have
you need some help.
South. Yeah. Jacksonville has a squad. Liam Cohen could be in the runnings for Coach of the Year. I don't
100%.
He has done great in Jacksonville. I mean, their one loss was kind of not that bad. So 4-1 Jags, they were really, really good.
And you know what I like that he's done with Trevor Lawrence, and we saw it a lot on Monday night, was he's using Trevor Lawrence's legs more in the offense. That's big, and it opens up more on the offensive side. So I like what they're doing down there.
You and I both. Let me throw this back on here.
Yeah, what about Gene? What's he got?
No special tag on this. Gene is taking Seattle to win this game.
Okay, all right.
So we have 2 for Seattle.
No belief in the Jaguars yet, huh?
You know, it's more.
It's more so you need them to lose. Just say it, Jake.
Yeah, I like Jack. So they lost a bit of bias with me. I like Tank Bigsby, dude. I was a Tank Bigsby fan. They trade him to Philadelphia. Who's not even using him. Obviously,
no, they're not. No,
I didn't realize it. But no, I don't think Trevor Lawrence's arm can compete with Sam Darnold. I think if you're really going back and forth, I think Seattle has the more consistent run game and the better passer.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
Moving forward, boom. This will actually be hopefully a good game. The Chargers seem to be slipping quite a bit. Drop 2 in a row. But you have the LA Chargers that are 3-2 on the season, and the Miami Dolphins, who are 1-4 with an accidental victory. Dustin, tell me all about how you think this game is going to play out.
I mean, listen, the Dolphins, I can't say it enough. I watched them here in Carolina last week. They had a chance, up 17-0, to kind of get their season back on track. And with 2 straight wins, be 2-3. Tua was playing a little better. Achane wasn't getting going, but Waller had a huge first half. Jalen Waddle went over 100 yards and had a touchdown. It just looked like that was a game that said, okay, hey, we're 2-3. It's been a rough start, but 2-3, we can kind of settle down a little bit. And then they blow a 17-0 lead. So now you got a Chargers team. And I got to be honest, Jacob, I think we all probably crowned the Chargers a little too quickly. Now, I know they've got Hampton on IR, Joe Alt's been out, the left tackle, Rashawn Slater. So injuries are piling up, so you got to take that into account. But, man, we thought just a couple of weeks ago that they had a stranglehold on the AFC West, and now that division's back wide open. So, with that being said, though, if the Chargers are who – I'm going to pull out a Denny Green reference here. If they are who we think they are, they go on the road and beat a bad Miami Dolphins team. I know that they could put you at running back. I know they're hurt. But this run defense is like NFL history awful bad for the Miami Dolphins. So go pound the rock like Jim Harbaugh likes to do and use Justin Herbert's legs and get a win so you can get this thing back on track.
I am right there with you on this. I have the Chargers winning this game. I think that Miami's secondary is just as bad as the run defense. I did pick up Hassan Haskins. Yeah. If you play fantasy football, that dude's absolutely available in your league.
Yeah.
He is he's the RB1 for the Chargers for this game. But if the Chargers are who most people, I assume, thought they were the first couple weeks of the season, they're going to go to Miami and win this game. They're going to win it decisively. It's not going to be a 3-point game. They'll probably cover. It's a 4.5-point spread, or at least it was when I made my notes. Now I realize that some of my
3.5. It looks like
3.5. Okay, so some line shifts that's moving towards Miami. But I think Los Angeles wins by over a touchdown for sure.
I agree.
And then Gene also has the Chargers winning this one.
Okay. All right. Across the board.
Yes, sir. Moving on. This might end up being a better game than what it looks like it'll probably be with it on the board. You have the New England Patriots, who just toppled the Bills, versus the New Orleans Saints, who just got the first dub of their season. The Patriots have been hot and cold, but I would say that this year's already a success under Vrabes. I think New England looks good. If they could stop fumbling the ball, they would have more victories. and their offense would look a lot more competent. They have a fumbling problem in New England that is unfortunate. Stephon Diggs is heating up. Their defense has looked a whole hell of a lot better. And on the flip side, Spencer Rattler's starting to throw it downfield a little more. Rashid Shaheed's getting mixed into the offense a bit more. Alvin Kamara's banged up, but they do have a really good backup behind him. I am taking New England to win this game.
Yeah, listen, New England showed something last week, obviously getting a win in Buffalo against the team that you're trying to take down as kind of who reigns the AFC East. I mean, I think that was the game last week where you said, okay, it's not about Braves building for the future. They got something right now. And I've mentioned Drake May, since he's been drafted, that I think he's one of the better quarterbacks to come out of the draft, and he's starting to show it. He's got athleticism. He's got an arm. You're right. The fumbles got to stop. Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, if he fumbles another one, I'd be surprised if he's still on the roster.
You've got to bench him at least, right?
Yeah. Like you got the rookie and Travion Henderson, and unfortunately, Antonio Gibson got hurt and tore his ACL, so Stevenson's got to stay there. But put the lock of the week up, because I'm going to tell you right now, you can't go to Buffalo and make a statement like that and get a win and say, hey, we're in this conversation, and then go down to New Orleans and lose against a very bad football team. I know the Saints got a win last week, but it was against a rookie quarterback. The Giants gave that game to him with 5 turnovers. The Patriots, if you're for real and Vrabel and these guys, you don't win a game like Buffalo and then follow it up with a loss like this. So I'm locking it in for the Patriots to get a win this week.
I absolutely agree with everything you said there. It's perfect rhetoric for this game. The Patriots need to win this game. And they should. They are the better team. And Gene agrees. Gene also took the Patriots to win this game.
Okay.
No special tags. I think you're done with Gene's special tags.
All right, that's what I like to hear, because he was out of the gates quick.
He was
with the tags. Yeah.
All right, Gene's favorite game of the week. This is the one that I do still wish that he was on the show for. But boom, we are moving to the Cleveland Brownies, who are coming off a barely loss to the Minnesota Vikings overseas, versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by the one, the only, the greatest quarterback of all time in the eyes of Gene, Aaron Rodgers. So
Gene's favorite player.
His absolute favorite player. He wakes up every morning. There's a big frame picture of Aaron Rodgers over his bed. It is fantastic.
Oh, he's gonna love this clip.
Oh, this short's gonna be fantastic.
I know Gene didn't want to come on the air, but I'm pretty sure in a text Gene talked about how he had been wanting Aaron Rodgers for years as his quarterback, even though he didn't say it. And he's so happy now, and that he was going to go out and buy an Aaron Rodgers jersey. So Gene, we're here to relay those messages that you told us, and we'll let everybody in the world know how much you love Aaron Rodgers.
You're very welcome, Gene. This one's for you. We have the Browns, who barely lost to the Vikings. Dylan Gabriel, his first start in the NFL, actually looked pretty good. Got a lot of hate because he was a dink and dunk, checked down a whole bunch. There wasn't a whole lot more he could do. Minnesota had a very good defense. They lost. Quinshon Judkins might be a star, dude. Quinshon Judkins had 100 yards called back in penalties. That guy is an absolute menace to society on the field. I do think that he has a good game here. The Pittsburgh Steelers coming off of a bye. They are 3-1. They have looked really good. I've picked against them a couple times and had to eat my words. They do need a little help in the run game. I don't think Jaylen Warren's the guy, and I think Caleb Johnson needs a little bit more time to adjust. But regrettably, I am taking the Steelers to win this game.
Well, you mentioned the run game. How about Kenneth Gainwell and what he did while Warren was out? So I mean, he might be getting more carries. And I think we got to take a minute before we make the picks. We're kind of moving along, so we got a minute. But how about the trade? How about Joe Flacco going to the Cincinnati Bengals and is now the starter for this week? And I said it last week on the show. You can go back and look at it. If the Bengals don't want to write this season off and they want to try to salvage something until Joe Burrow comes back, they needed to go find a better quarterback to put in place. I mentioned Jameis Winston. I didn't know about Flacco because it was in the division, but I really, really like this move for the Cincinnati Bengals, because if you look at that game last week, they scored some points against the Lions, but Jamar Chase is still getting open. Those guys are still getting open, and somebody's got to throw him the ball. Getting a veteran like Flacco, and I know he wasn't good in Cleveland, but let's not forget he did change teams a couple years ago and went to Cleveland and led them to a playoff run, and he's going to have a lot more weapons here on this offense to put some numbers up. So I love the move by Cincinnati. And I don't hate the move from Cleveland. I mean, he wasn't going to be the guy. Now, I do wonder about getting rid of that veteran leadership around the young quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders and Gabriel. Keeping Flacco around could have been beneficial in them learning. Sure. But I think it's a home run move for the Cincinnati Bengals.
I think that it deserves so much praise. So Joe Flacco, albeit not great in Cleveland, right? He was good in his last stint. This time he came in. He has not looked good this year. The fact that Cleveland got draft compensation, they swapped late round picks, got a 5th rounder for Flacco. The fact that they got draft compensation at all for a 40-year-old quarterback who wasn't playing well within their own division, shout out the Browns. What a terrific trade. Yeah. And you didn't need
Flacco. I think it's a win-win for both teams.
Correct. I'm right there with you. I did read right before the show, there was an announcement that Shedeur might still be inactive, which I think is crazy after he by proxy gets moved to QB2. They do believe in Dillon Gabriel, who was very good for the Oregon Ducks. But I agree with you. This was a win on both sides. Jake Browning was just absolutely crumbling. You needed something else. I do think that I don't know why Jameis Winston doesn't have a spot on a team.
I agree.
I get it. I mean, he throws a lot of picks. His decision-making is questionable, but he's still young for all intents and purposes. And the dude has a cannon for an arm. He's a team-first guy. Like, he wants everybody around him to succeed always. He's a locker room blessing. But Joe Flacco could actually step in. We're going to talk about the game between the Bengals and the Packers here in a bit, but Joe Flacco could step into the situation with the best offense he's ever operated under and win more games than people probably think he will, despite, they watched him in Cleveland, not a great on-field product, but you move into that Bengals offense and any sort of competent quarterback throw darts in it. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. And I think, listen, I think this will bump Shedeur Sanders up to number 2. And I think this will be interesting to watch the rest of the year with Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders because it's 2 rookies. Mm-hmm. If Dillon Gabriel is not out there, I know he's a rookie, but if he's not out there like performing and having bad games, now Shedeur Sanders moves one step closer to being on that field. So it's going to be an interesting storyline to watch to see if Gabriel just takes it and runs with it, or if he falters. And I'm not saying rookies are always going to falter, but if he's really bad, will they make that change to Shedeur Sanders? So that'll be interesting to watch. But I just wanted to throw that out there because that was a pretty big trade that happened in the NFL. But back to this game, I didn't get to see much of it with it being in London. I had an early morning, baseball game with my son, but I did see, like you said, that Gabriel kind of, low yardage, kind of checked down, kind of took his time. Listen, first game on the road, international, but they were in that game. I mean, it took a Wentz touchdown late in the game. That Browns defense is still playing some really good defense. So let's see what happens here going into Pittsburgh. I've said this a lot tonight. It's a bad spot for the Cleveland Browns. Uh-huh. You come back from international play. You come on the road to Pittsburgh, who's had a week off and is rested. And I'm telling you right now, if Gene was on the show, he'd probably be jumping up and down and saying this. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, I know it's all about the playoffs, but you got to be sitting back right now going, everything that's happened in this division has been a perfect storm so far for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Browns are on a rookie quarterback. Joe Burrow's hurt. The Ravens have been terrible. You have a chance to win another division game and go 4-1 and basically put a stranglehold on this division only after 5 weeks. So I don't see them letting up on that, especially after a bye week. So I got the Steelers to get a win.
Sick. We are in agreement. And then Mean Gene also has.
He took the Browns, right?
No, he took the Steelers. I expect after the upset picks earlier, I expected.
Yeah, Browns. I know.
He did take the Steelers. I do think that this game could be a lot more interesting than
it's a 5.5 point spread. So
and I think the Browns are going to be a lot more competitive in this one than people probably realize.
I mean, that defense is keeping them in games. So
it's a phenomenal defense. And Dillon Gabriel, Jerry Jeudy had some drops this past week. You have Harold Fanning.
He's been very disappointing. Drop.
Yeah, Jeudy has, or
Jeudy. Yeah.
They need a wide receiver one pretty bad. I do think that they'd actually improve by trading for AJ Brown. Just throwing that out there, that could be something that could come up. But Dillon Gabriel put some balls in spots that looked really, really good. And the team around him kind of let him down in places. I think Dillon Gabriel plays well, but we're a unanimous decision. The Steelers win this one. Moving forward to the Yeah.
Look, our guy, I don't know if you can put the comment up there, Jacob, but he was late tonight, but he just got here. But he got here still in time before we break down his Raiders. Can you put that comment up from Bobby the Hitman? Because he said he just got in the building. There he is.
Raiders. What is up, Bobby? I am
right on time.
That I am missing these comments. We actually have quite a few, and I have not seen any of them because my screen is not showing them. It is now. I've got it all.
It is. Shout out. I'll say it. I can see it. Shout out to Bobby the Hitman. Shout out to Rachel. We got some people in the chat. And listen, I mean, I like it. I like having the energy. I like having the comments back and forth because we need some people to call us out sometimes.
Yep. Absolutely. We got to get put in our place, right? It can't just be Gene when he finally hits at every 16 picks.
And listen, and I think that's a good omen. Bobby was late, but he still got here before the Raiders game came up. And so I'm going to start it off, and I'm going to say, listen, both teams 1-4, Tennessee coming off a win. But you know what? Pete Carroll and the Raiders. Like, I know it's his first year. He's an older coach, but it's his first year. He's still trying to build that culture there. But this is the game you got to win at home. I mean, you're better. I think you're better than a 1-4 record. Do I think you're a playoff team? I don't know, but you're better than a 1-4 record. You've got to show something here. And Jacob, I've said it every week. Go back and look at every show we've did. I've said it. It's not just a 1 week thing with Geno Smith. He has been very, very, very bad. Probably one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL after they give him $75 million. And you hope that it's not going back to the old Geno Smith where he's kind of this turnover machine and struggling. So we'll see what happens there. But if they don't win this game, then you probably are looking at a top 5 draft pick and, probably drafting a quarterback over Geno Smith. But I think you got to get this done at home. Max Crosby, these type of guys, just to keep the energy in the building. So give me the Raiders to get a win.
Nice. And I mostly agree with you, except I'm
lock it in. All right.
Give me the
I thought about it.
Yeah, it's hard not to. And picking against the Titans was kind of a gimme for the first couple weeks of the season. But the Raiders are going to get on track here. Are they going to go to the playoffs? More than likely not. Not in the same division as the hot Broncos, the Chiefs, who find ways to win, except against Jacksonville, and then the Chargers, who could turn things around. But this is a very winnable game for the Raiders. They do outmatch the Titans in more ways than one. And Geno has great games when he has great games, right? When he throws 3 picks, it's not so much that. But Geno's capable of having fantastic games. And I do think that they put a good product on the field this week against the Titans. The Titans will fall once more. At least they got their dub last week against the Cardinals. It was a beautiful thing. And now it's time to return to business.
Yeah, 3.5 point spread here for the Raiders.
So locking it in with the Raiders here. Gene also has taken the Raiders.
All right, another game we all agree on.
Those did us very poorly last week.
That didn't go well. We need a bounce back week for sure.
Moving on, we have the Bengals-Packers matchup that we were mentioning before. Mr. Joe Footsteps Flacco steps into the Cincinnati Bengals offense to face off against a well-rested Green Bay Packers team that I have no idea how to gamble on, talk about, or pick to win games. Dustin, go ahead and set us off on this.
Well, I will say I'm looking at the spread here, and it says 14.5. That's a lot, especially with Flacco coming over. I do think the Bengals offense will be more competent than it has been in the previous couple of weeks with Browning at quarterback. But with that being said, throw up the lock of the week graphic for me here, Jacob, because if you're the Green Bay Packers and you're coming off of a bye and everybody's tagging you as Super Bowl contenders, then you have to get this win at home coming off a bye. And I do think the Bengals will look better. I think they'll make some plays. But I think that bye week, you never want a bye week early, but I think that one might have came at the right time for the Packers. They come out like gangbusters, and then they end up tying against the Cowboys, dropping a game against the Browns. Like, it was time for them to sit back and go, okay, 2 games ain't going to do it. We got to get this thing together. You give a chance for for Micah Parsons to get that back a little healthier as well. Mm-hmm. I just think at home they're going to try to come out and prove a point off this bye week. So lock it in for the Green Bay Packers.
Love it. I'm right there with you. I am not locking it, but I am taking the Packers. I think that bye week, of all the teams that had the early bye, I think
they needed it.
Benefited the Packers the most.
Yeah.
Jordan Love had some wonky injuries. You had Romeo Doubs, who had been roughed up. Josh Jacobs had a couple of little things here and there. So they're not going to get that late game or the late season bye where they get well rested there in the middle or they're towards the end so that they're a bit more refreshed for the final push. However, this is going to, after dropping the game to the Browns and tying with the Cowboys, I think this is going to be what they needed to really set the team straight and get back to what maybe help find their identity, right? They've had kind of no identity this season. That's why their record is what it is. I think this is going to be a great thing for the Packers. I am taking the Packers. And our leader, Mr. Mean Gene, also taking the Packers.
Man, I guess the pick for Cincinnati last week, he didn't want to do that 2 weeks in a row.
He learned. Yeah, Gene learned this time. Yep.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have the San Francisco 49ers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and what could be the best game of the week.
Yeah.
I love this one. I didn't like the 49ers to win last week. I did not pick them. I think Mac Jones is playing his way into a big Sam Darnold-esque contract right now with the way that he's slinging the rock for the Niners in a very depleted offense. And then on the flip side, I think Baker Mayfield should be top 3 for MVP votes right now. I think
100%.
Lights out. They are missing Bucky Irving. Rashad White did just fine in his stead last week. You have Ibuka who's having he'll win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think anybody deserves it above him. You have Chris Godwin, who's getting better every week. You have Sterling Shepard, who's made his mark. He scored a touchdown last week, despite being a little on the older side. This is going to be a great game of 4-1 teams. This will not end in a tie. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'm surfing through my notes. No, I did not have this as a lock.
Yeah, this is only a 2.5 point spread for the Bucs. So this is a toss-up game of the week. And big props to the 49ers and what they did on the short week to go on the road and everybody banged up. And again, I know everybody's going to say Brock Purdy got us money, which he did in the offseason, 200 and something million. But Jake, I'm being serious when I say we're one more Mac Jones big performance away to where we do have to have a conversation. And you always try to go with the guy you gave the money to. But if they go on the road to Tampa, because it sounds like Brock Purdy hasn't been practicing, so it sounds like he's probably going to be out one more week. If they go on the road to Tampa, who we consider one of the best teams in the NFC, and they pull up another upset back-to-back weeks versus the Rams and the Bucs, how can Kyle Shanahan not sit back as the head coach of this organization and go, we've got to ride the hot hand? Yeah. I mean, what? And I'm not talking about going out there and winning 10-7. I'm talking about Mac Jones going out there and throwing for almost 300 yards, slinging the ball all over the field. This isn't like a ground and pound game with with McCaffrey. This is them letting Mac Jones sling it. And again, we are that close. I think this is going to be a very close game. The 49ers showed me something last week that I wasn't expecting. I think Kittle's close to coming back. It sounds like Jawan Jennings is questionable. So they're getting a little healthier. I mean, let's remember, Jacob, they've been one of the most banged up teams in the league, and they're 4-1. Yep. So they're in a very good spot. With that being said, you're right. I think Baker Mayfield and Dak Prescott are probably tied. I would think in my eyes, it's hard to pick who the MVP in the league is right now, but those are the top two. And if the game's close and Baker Mayfield has the ball in his hands, he's probably going to win the game. That's just how crazy it is. So with this game being at home, sorry, my guy Eric, who's a 49ers fan, I kind of want to pull the trigger on this, but Tampa at home is just, I went against them last week and I can't do it again. And Ibuka is just already looks like a superstar. So give me the Bucs to get a win. Close game though.
Every bone in Baker Mayfield's body has the clutch gene in it.
He's a gamer. He is a gamer.
Love it, dude. So Gene also has the Bucs.
We are just
unanimous. Which means we're going to miss
this game. I could see going. Yeah, I could see us looking dumb on the other end. But I mean, the Bucs are putting up 30+ points a game. It's just hard to not see them winning at home. But I'm going to be watching just closely to see how, again, even if they lose, I'm going to be watching closely to see how Mac Jones performs because again, we're real close in San Francisco to having a conversation.
And I hope we do. Mac Jones deserves to get paid. After this, his stint with the Jaguars wasn't great. Stint with the Pats wasn't great, but he looked phenomenal in Kyle Shanahan's scheme.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just one of those things. Again, it depends on where you're at, the scheme that you're in. I mean, who knows? Who knows? How about next year? if J.J. McCarthy can't stay healthy or doesn't look good, maybe the Vikings call up Mac Jones and say, hey, come be our quarterback on a 1 or 2 year deal. I mean, you're right. I don't know what the payday will be, but he's definitely opening his options to getting a starting quarterback job next season.
Absolutely. And I am here for it. Just like I am here for what is going to be touted as one of the games of the week, if not the game of the week.
The Sunday night game.
Yeah, buddy. The 4-1 Detroit Lions at the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead, coming off of a loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You have Detroit, who has the number 1 scoring offense in the league, hitting around 36 points per game. Jared Goff is having a phenomenal year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and co. catching the ball. You have the best running back duo in the league here with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, or Monty, as I refer to him as all the time on the show. And on the flip side, you have the Kansas City Chiefs with Travis Kelce, who has still been pretty good considering his age. You have it's Tyquan Thornton in Kansas City.
Yes.
Right? Deontay Thornton, the Raiders.
Yeah,
Tyquan Thornton just absolutely shredding. You have Xavier Worthy back. Rashee Rice is back next week, right?
One more game. Yep.
It's our final week. No Rashee.
And Pacheco's running a little better too. So
he is. And Kareem Hunt still looks good. People forget that Kareem Hunt's a bruiser. So their offensive line has played a little better in weeks past. It didn't help them last week, obviously, but Kansas City's looked a lot better. I will say I'm taking Detroit to win this game. I took Kansas City to beat Jacksonville. That one kind of bit me. But I am taking the is this still an upset? I have to ask you that before I say
it is. The Lions are a 2.5 point underdog, which is crazy.
Wild, right? I know it's at Arrowhead, but wild. So I am taking the Lions to beat Kansas City at Kansas City.
How about Gene? What's he got?
Gene is also taking the Lions.
Okay. All right. Listen, I mean, anytime you can get the Lions at plus points right now, the way they're playing, it's probably not a bad bet, probably not a bad pick. I think this is going to be a great game on Sunday night. I don't know why I'm doing this, Jacob. I just go ahead and put the graphic on the screen. Well, it's not. You don't put it on the screen because it's not an upset. I can't quit the Kansas City Chiefs. I just don't know what it is. Like, I've seen too much in the past decade to quit them, and I just feel like at home on a Sunday night primetime game after you just lost in primetime. I mean, let's be honest, that Jacksonville game was a good football game. Like, the Chiefs could have won that game, so it's not like they played terrible. Jacksonville just made a couple more plays. And I just think at home, like you said, with Worthy getting going a little bit, getting these guys going, to get Pacheco playing a little better. And how about, I said this to y'all in a text the other day, like Chris Jones, like he has to be embarrassed as to the video that's out there on the last play of the game with Trevor Lawrence falling down and him basically quitting. I would expect him as a captain to step up and bounce back as a defensive leader. And that defense still plays some decent football. So I think this is going to be a barn burner. Lions are a damn good football team. I just can't quit the Chiefs. If they lose this, they go 2-4. But they have to be sitting back and going, Jacob, we're 2-3. And we're only one game behind the division lead because the Chargers are faltering. So they have to be saying everything is still right in front of us. So that's got to give them a boost. And I'm picking the Chiefs to get a win.
I like that somebody picked the Chiefs in this one. I do. I think the Lions win. It's like 23-17. This is not going to be the
and that Bengals game, the Lions, they had the lead for the entire game, but they did give up some points to Jake Brown here and there in that Cincinnati offense.
And Aiden Hutchinson's been having a great year. He should be well on his way to comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
More than likely. But that Detroit pass rush kind of disappears sometimes. And Patrick Mahomes is Houdini in the pocket, man. So I can see it. Again, I'm taking the Lions, but Kansas City is getting hot at the right time, which it pains me to say, but they are getting hot. And this is a must-win game. I like your pick.
Yeah.
Moving on to our second to last game, we have
a Monday Night Football doubleheader again.
Isn't it a great? So the Monday night doubleheaders are some of my favorite things in football. I love having two games on Monday night.
So do you like that they're 7:15 and 8:15, or would you rather one be at 7 and one be at 10? I'm a late night person, so I don't mind staying up and watching football. It's just hard. I mean, I guess we do it every Sunday, but you got two games on at one time. You're trying to pay attention. It's tough.
I do wish it was like 6 and 9. I wish I could knock an hour off of that. I mean, I get it. But 6 and 9, or 7 and 10 would probably be my vote, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've got YouTube TV, right? We're not sponsored to say that, but I do have YouTube TV. I
put the split screen up.
Yeah, and it's great, but I do wish we got the individuals. But regardless, I like the double headers on Monday night. And I wish we got more of them.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I kind of just hate that it takes away from the 425 slate. I like having a good mix of 1 o'clock games and then still having where you have more than 2 or 3 games at 425. But it's a good doubleheader. So we got two good games to look for. And the first one, like you said, right here on the screen, the Buffalo Bills coming off their first loss of the season at home to the New England Patriots, a division rival, going on the road to the Atlanta Falcons, who are coming off a bye week. Big game for both of these teams, Jacob. I mean, the Bills probably thought, hey, we're probably going to run away with this division. And then the Patriots are like, hold on a sec, we got something to say about that. So now they're only a game ahead of the Patriots. They got to keep the foot down. And I think Josh Allen then will respond. That was a close game, 23-20. They had a couple of mistakes. That you mentioned it. I didn't get to mention it in the New England game. Stephon Diggs looked like the old Stephon Diggs. I mean, that was unbelievable. And the Falcons. What do you get from the Falcons from week to week, Jacob? You get a 30-0 loss to the Panthers. You get a win against the Commanders. I know they didn't have Jaden Daniels, but that's still a good win.
Yeah.
This is a big game for like I said, for both teams, to, especially, I would say, especially for the Falcons, if you want to try to say, hey, we can maybe be a playoff team. With that being said, Josh Allen's not going to lose 2 games in a row. He's going to have his team ready to bounce back. And I like the Bills to get a win on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep mine pretty short and sweet with this one. I'm also taking the Bills. This would be the game if Atlanta really wanted to make any sort of noise, right? Michael Peters is a good quarterback. That offense can be good. Bijan is good.
Yeah,
they're inconsistent at best, and the Buffalo Bills are still a juggernaut. Sure, they dropped to a Patriots team. It's the color rush unis. It's those new unis.
Yeah.
Bills wore the new unis. They got squashed just like the Cardinals did when they wore theirs.
Yeah.
Miami won with theirs, which kind of blows a hole in that whole idea. But give me the Bills, and then Gene also has the Bills taking this game.
All right.
And moving on to the final Monday night game.
Sneaky good game.
This is going to be a great game. I was torn on who I was going to pick. You have Chicago coming off of a bye week. They were hot before hitting it. You have the Washington Commanders coming off of a big dub and Jaden Daniels returning to the team. Dustin, I'm going to let you take this one, and I will wrap us up.
Yeah, listen, the Bears, I think they're the one team that probably didn't want to have a bye week. They finally got some momentum going under Ben Johnson. I like the direction they're heading. I think this is going to be a close game. But getting Jaden Daniels back last week just, again, proved the point that the Commanders are still a contender. I didn't pick them to win last week, but seeing not only what Jaden Daniels did, but what the defense did against the Chargers, that was a big game for the Commanders. And how about your boy? I always get his name. What is it? I call him Bill. That's all I call him.
Krosky Merritt. Bill Crosby,
huge game. I tried to pick him up right away on fantasy. Unfortunately, Gene had the waiver wire priority and picked him up. But I think that's what people were kind of expecting at the start of the year from this rookie, that he could be a lead back. So I bet he gets involved even more. And with Jaden Daniels back, obviously you got that dual threat on the run game. Give me the Commanders at home to get a win. I just think they've got their juice back now that Jaden Daniels is back in the lineup. And do we know if Scary Terry's coming back this week? He should be close, right?
He is questionable, but has not practiced up until yet.
Okay. All right. I still like the Commanders. I like I said, Jaden Daniels gives you that boost, and then being at home, I like them to get this win.
Gene is also taking the Commanders. However,
why do I feel like you're going somewhere else here? Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yeah, and I scrolled down. There you go. So I like the Bears to win this one. Their run game worries me, right? I am not a believer in DeAndre Swift, but despite the fact that Chicago has a worse run offense, I think Ben Johnson is creative enough to do this. I think that outside of last week, Washington has allowed quite a few points each game. I think that Caleb Williams presents a huge problem for the Commanders. I do think that they have suffered against running quarterbacks, and I think that he is actually one of the better mobile quarterbacks as of right now this season. And that passing offense is good. I don't think that they can guard Rome Odunze. I think we might see some DJ Moore sightings.
Yeah.
Washington has been bad against the tight ends. Chicago's got 2 really good of those. So I am taking the Bears to Washington Commanders here.
I like it. The Bears are playing good football. Like I said, I think this will be a good football game.
I hope so. I hope it's a good football game. This is one right where like it could be a 3-0 end of game. It could be a 50-0 blowout, or it could be like there is no definite here because Chicago could fall flat coming off of a bye week. That could have crippled them.
Yeah.
Or it could be competitive.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right, man.
Man, look at that. An hour and 5 minutes. What a great show. You see how everything flows so good when you don't have Gene making crazy predictions and different stuff. You see that?
Just fluffing things, dude.
Just kidding, Gene. We miss you, man. We hope you get back soon.
We love you. Congratulations, man. Before we sign off tonight, I know I mentioned that the Texans were on a bye. You do have the Minnesota Vikings on a bye week this week as well.
Yeah.
Just knock out the last two teams we didn't talk about. And
listen, and we always have to mention at the end real quick, appreciate the support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, jump in the comments, talk football with us. This show continues to take off. Jacob, speaking for both of us, like I knew we had a good I like what we do. I like our show. I like how we interact with the fans, but the support has just been overwhelming. And, I think we're up to almost 550 subscribers, not even 5 weeks into the season. So just all the support has been great. Continue to share it with your friends and family, everybody that likes football. Click on that subscribe, click on that like, and again, we'll keep putting out the shows and keep talking football.
Thank you all, everybody. We couldn't do what we do without you doing what you do. Watching us, supporting us, like Dustin said, please like and subscribe the show. And Mr. Mean Gene will be back with us next week. You don't have to rely on me clicking through stuff, which was a lot harder than it looked like it would be. Thank you, Dustin, for showing up for our show. I will see you next week, brother.
Appreciate it, man.